Prospective strategic planning. Foresight is a forecast. Proactive and proactive allows us to clarify the actions present in the light of the possible and desirable futures. Prepare for the planned changes does not act to bring about the desired changes. Forecasting into action depends solely on that actors be able to incorporate. How to prospect a future in a megatrain highway. The perspective comes from French. It is difficult to translate the word, but it is used to designate a discipline which strives to enlighten anticipation by clarifying actions made in the present through the truthful examinations of both possible and desirable future. Also must be considered the integral aspect of perspective, which is proactive, intended as the voluntary construction of an action plan to initiate desirable changes through a project. Means that we have to consider a plan which includes scope, objectives and methods. Decisions must be made with the future in mind, as Berger affirmed in 1952. Foresight aims to control the expected change in a right about a design change. 5 key ideas of foresight. 1. The world changes, but problems remain. 2. Human will is required in the face of change. 3. Let us stop complicating the already complex. 4. Ask the right questions and be aware preconceived ideas. 5. From anticipation to action via appropriation. 5 fundamental questions strategy foresight. Question 1. What can happen? Scenarios. Question 2. What can I do? Strategic options. Question 3. What would I do? Strategic decisions. Question 4. How will I do it? Actions and operational plans. Question 5. Who am I? Know thyself. Strategic planning scenarios. Perspective revolutionizes the present and calls a strategy. Point 2. Its objective proposes strategic orientations and actions based on competences. Scenario. Hypothetical series of events constructed with view to us to bring light details and casual sequences of decision. Set consisting of description of a future situation and a series of events that allow you to move from the original location to the future situation. To construct these scenarios should meet with 5 simultaneous conditions. 1. Relevance. 2. Coherence. 3. Likelihood. 4. Importance. 5. Transparency. There are 2 types of scenarios. Exploratory. They are based on previous and present trends or lead to credible fruits. Point 2. Anticipatory or regulatory, constructed from an alternative images and the future desire or fear and designed in a way retiooperativa. The method of the strategic foresight is articulated around 3 processes. The future is built twice. It is now clear that setting up such an approach in perspective contributed to stimulate this strategy through a communication with the companies, improving internal flexibility or response to environmental uncertainty, and providing better prosperations for possible system breakdowns, reorienting policy options according to the future context in which their consequences would impinge. The future is multiple and several potential futures are possible. The description of a potential future of the progression toward it comprises an scenario. In practice, there is no one scenario method, but rather a variety of methods of construction. Classically, a decision is made between the following. 1. Possible scenarios, i.e., everything that can be imagined. Next, realizable scenarios, i.e., all that is possible taking account of constraints. Next, desirable scenarios, i.e., which fall into the possible category but which are not all necessarily realizable. According to their nature or their probability, these scenarios may be termed reference strength. Theater of the future. Theater, it is an integrative artistic representation. It includes visual elements, sounds, language, body language, and movement through time and space. It is also a means of sharing communication. Observers, actors, and behind-the-scenes writers who create, experiment, interpret, discuss, and reflect the stories and their meanings. These shared stories can be based on future scenarios and bring them to life for a moment. Background. Jacob Levi Moreno, 1921, he founded the theater of improvisation, the therapeutic possibilities that exist in this release of emotional conflict situations to present them, live them active and structurally, as the psychodrama techniques are based on the principle of creative spontaneity. Free all of the members of the group in the dramatic production and the catharsis active participations. Relationship between theater and the future. Stories. Stories are powerful exploratory devices. In this case, explore various aspects of the human futurist way not accessible to reason, analysis, or future research. The prospective techniques tell stories to build scenarios, alternative futures. Types of story. Utopia, an idealized world that does not exist. Dystopia. The reality is the opposite of the ideal society. It's a perseverable utopia, what we do not want to happen. Utopia. Good place that does exist. Gradual approach to realization of the human being. Points of the theater of the future. You can evaluate the human behavior based on the premise and what would happen. The public must understand that the stage is a place for ideas, philosophies, for more intense discussions about the fate of human. Arthur Miller, 1994. It is a key tool of the psychoperspective. The future begins in mind.